The other thing I'm not scared to do is offer the truth for people based on what's going on in the market. Like if you went to the doctor with an ailment and they were too scared to tell you something that you were doing lifestyle wise because they didn't want to like not get hired as your doctor. I mean, that's insane, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with real estate. If I don't tell you that there's a better way for your house to be marketed or something needs to happen to the house to make it more appealing to buyers in the market at the current time, or maybe it's price or whatever it is, maybe it was the marketing plan. If I'm not truthful about it, I'm not doing my job. That's also part of mindfulness, is being honest.
Aloha, we've got Kris McLaughlin here on the Outwork'em podcast. Thank you so much for being on the pod today, Kris.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Kris is a mindful real estate agent in Arcadia, Phoenix, Scottsdale, and Paradise Valley, Arizona, and she specializes in luxury real estate. And I've seen some of the houses that she has been a part of selling, and they're gorgeous. If you look at her Instagram, Kris McLaughlin, they are just so beautiful, and she's so knowledgeable about the market there. So I'm so excited to have a conversation with Kris today. And I would love to know what brought you into being the mindful agent. How did you land there?
Great question. I would say the first 10 years of my career, I was on teams or had mentors, because that's the best way to learn how to do real estate, in the practice of it out in the field. And about 10 years in, I decided to go out on my own as a solo agent. But I didn't really honestly, I didn't love real estate. It was out of alignment for me in terms of being like frantic, fast pace, a lot of like for the money, for the show. And there is that vibration to real estate. That's just a reality. I wanted to bring something deeper. And honestly, I needed it to be deeper for it to work for me. So I was already working on some mindful practices in my personal life. And I decided those had been so beneficial to me in creating purpose and meaning. I decided to weave them into my real estate brand. That's when I established the Mindful Agent. And it made me love real estate because now I was delivering a service to my clients and to the market and to these houses that was elevated from where I sat. So instead of being like stressed out, showing up late, run, behind the eight ball instead of ahead of it, you know what I'm saying? All of that kind of frantic energy. I was bringing pace. I was bringing, trust, talking about trust and partnership with my clients, really getting clear on goals, setting expectations, over communicating, being early, and delivering an experience that was much more calm and honestly like safe feeling for people. Because when you're doing a real estate deal, all of a sudden you basically have another job as a human, not me. It's my job all the time. But if you're going to buy or sell a home, it takes a lot of time, energy, effort, and money. And you have, whether you have a family or pets or you're single or married and you have a job, you have two jobs, whatever it is, you're adding a whole nother thing. So my goal was to make that as easeful as it could be to be in your life for that, the amount of time we're working together.
Right. Yeah. I can imagine the last thing that you want when you're about to invest in a piece of luxury real estate is to also have weird, stressful vibes from the person that is helping you in that endeavor, because it's already such a stressful event for a lot of people. And having that grounded, calm presence that like sureness and a regulated nervous system sitting across from you is such a value. I've definitely met agents in the past and contractors even in the past too, working on really big jobs. And if you're in their energy field, it can be kind of frazzling if they're not in that state. And it makes you feel not sure, not good, not certain. And you want to feel certain when you're, you know, in that endeavor for sure.
Absolutely. And speaking of trades, like along the way over the past 10 years that I've been doing, because I've been now over 20 years of doing real estate residential, my trades have been filtered out to also support my mindful brand. So if
Awesome.
everything that, because you have a lot of partnerships when you do a real estate deal, title companies,
Yeah.
lenders, and like you said, all the trades that are involved, and they need to be an extension of that vibration that I bring. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's such a good point.
I love that. Yeah, we hear so many horror stories in the trades, and so it's always good to go with people who you know in your network, and that you have a really good understanding of what they offer and their past work and their record, and yeah, what it's like to work with them, because some people work differently than others, and they have different expectations, and it seems like you have a really good grasp on making sure that your clients' expectations are heard and understood.
That's the whole game.
Yep.
That because that's the driver. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not me and what I want. It's my client and what my client wants.
Yeah.
So yes, clear expectations. And before Mindful Agent, I wasn't as good at identifying and bringing out the clear expectations. And clients don't naturally do that. You have to ask the right questions,
Yeah.
ask them at the right time. You have to
Yeah.
point things out as you're in the beginning of the process and start kind of like building the clarity,
Yep.
help people along that journey. Cause sometimes you don't know when you start.
Yeah.
It's an exploration on both sides. So creating that's really important. Yeah.
Yeah, some people don't even have the languaging for expectations, but everyone has expectations. So it's so interesting that we don't talk about it more, because it's like everyone has an expectation when they're going into a relationship of any kind. And to not talk about it is not really setting yourself up for success. But you don't know what you don't know. So a lot of people get let down because they don't talk about the expectations.
Yeah. That's just a natural human thing in any
Yeah.
interaction, really. And in real estate, I've learned to say, this is what I'm sensing you want. Am I on,
Mhm.
does that resonate with you? Like, is that what you want?
Mhm.
And that really gives people the opportunity to get clear for themselves.
Yeah, I love that. That's definitely a practice. I want to bring in more of having the conversation up front with people in every relationship, so that you don't just think that you're reading someone's mind and they're reading your mind, and then people don't match up on their expectations. So I
Yeah,
think
and
that's
it can be as
beautiful.
simple as like someone's like, we definitely have to have a pool. I mean, this doesn't have to be
Yeah.
deep, deep stuff. It can be, but it can be
Yeah.
as simple as like, we have
Totally.
to have a pool. It's
Yeah.
like a must. And then you get out in the market and you start seeing homes and, in the price point and neighborhoods that the buyers interested in, and they keep gravitating to a house that doesn't have a pool. Well,
Yeah.
then you need to reassess, do you really want a pool? Like, does this house
Right.
change that expectation? Because it does. Things change as you're
Yeah.
moving through it. So it's not like the deeper expectations of service, I think, is one category, and then there's a lot of more top level or ground level expectations of like what people think they want when they go into it, and then what actually they want when they start to get some experience.
Totally.
Because I relate being in a real estate deal. So, like getting out and seeing homes or saying, okay, I'm ready to put my home on the market, getting in the river.
Mhm.
Before that moment, you are on the banks of the river and you're
Mhm.
watching the water flow by, but you
Yeah.
aren't experiencing it. And so, until you can have the feedback of being in the currents of the current market, which is always changing,
Yeah.
and then whatever obstacles come up for you as a person living your life in whatever that means in whatever way, you might think you know what you want, but it'll get more clear, defined, and then also might change like as you're flowing down the river. But until you're in the river, you really don't totally know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said market's always changing, and I would love to hear from you as we stand in April 2026. Like, how how are the markets behaving in Phoenix, Arcadia, North Phoenix, Scottsdale,
Yeah.
Paradise Valley?
Yeah. So Arizona has had, great appreciation over the past 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
It was mostly due to COVID,
Yeah.
post, 21, 22, 23-ish, it started to change. But we had this like 30% appreciation in most of the markets, like inside the 51, if you will, and the
Mm-hmm.
101, other
Mm-hmm.
places too, but that's where I specialize. And we're still appreciating, depending on the neighborhood, anywhere from just below, like just not appreciating to appreciating at about 3% from
Mm-hmm.
that 30% mark. I think something
Wow.
people don't understand is when you see recent data, local data that says, for example, like this zip code is down, appreciating at negative 0.7% or something.
Yeah.
That's compared to the 30% increase. It's zero point 0.7
Oh.
below 30% higher.
Oh, wow.
It's not zero point 0.7 below zero. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah,
So
yeah.
we had this massive appreciation. So everyone gained about 30%.
Yeah.
Now when you're hearing inflation numbers, it's off of that gain. So it doesn't
Wow.
even really matter. And so meaning like those single digit appreciation points, it's good to see that the market is still appreciating at a more normal
Yeah.
level, because
Yeah.
to normalize after a huge jump like that and not fall back down shows real value in the market, real equity in people's homes. So the current market, it really depends on the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So you need an agent who can either specializes in that area or knows how to drill down and look at the data for a specific even street sometimes.
Yeah.
But we do see pending sales up and inventory up. So the market is active. We're adding homes, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
And we have demand. It's
Mm-hmm.
not a buyer's or seller's market in Arcadia and Scottsdale. It truly is case by case. There are situations where the house is, call it perfect, on the perfect street, and they
Yeah.
price it perfectly, you're going to get multiple offers.
Yeah.
Then we have houses that are maybe like a little less than perfect, or maybe not the perfect location, and they're overpriced. Well, then they're going to sit. But
Yep.
if they're underpriced, they're going to get more offers. So
Yeah.
it's just so finicky. It's really important right now as the market is trying to be normal, quote unquote,
Mm-hmm.
which
Mm-hmm.
means balanced,
Yeah.
to work with someone who understands the area you're looking to buy or sell in. And,
Yeah.
as normal markets are uncomfortable for people because they're not extreme. So there's no clear, like, oh, it is a seller's market, this is how that works. Oh, it is a
Yeah.
buyer's market, this is how that works. When you're in between and it can kind of go either way, the nuances of doing deals increases greatly, and you really need an experienced professional to get the most out of it.
Totally. And
Yeah.
in your area too, because I grew up in Phoenix and I lived all over the valley, but my dad and my grandparents' house was in Paradise Valley, and then my mom's was on the west side. So I was like all over everywhere all the time. And when you say that it depends on the street, it really does depend on the street. Like, I mean, you can see somewhere in Arcadia and you can think, oh, Arcadia, like that's great. And you really want to know someone who's looking in the area, because, like, Arcadia Light, for example, like, Arcadia Light is probably a different price point than like what you think of when you think of true Arcadia, and it might be priced as true Arcadia, but it's not really yet that scenario for the surrounding streets yet. So
Absolutely.
it's really important because, yeah, if you just go straight off of the listing and you're just Zillow romanticizing houses, which I've definitely done before,
Who hasn't?
and then gone and drove by, and I'm like, oh
Yep.
my gosh, how did they price this thing? Oh
Right. And the
my
other thing
goodness.
about 85018, like to your
Yep.
point, you have what people call Arcadia proper, which is
Yep.
tied to not only a school district, but being north of the canal.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Arcadia Light. And Arcadia Light even moved, because 85018 goes all the way to 32nd Street. So some
Yeah.
people don't want to look that far west. There's also a
Yeah.
school district line in there on 40th Street. There's a school
Yeah.
district change inside that zip code, but in what people would call Arcadia, quote unquote. So if you don't know all of the ins and outs, and there's Scottsdale neighborhoods like this and Central Phoenix neighborhoods
Yep.
like this, you have to know, you want to work with somebody who knows all of those details.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's when we were looking kind of around that area before we decided we'll probably not end up getting a place in Phoenix just because that's where my dad and my stepmom live, and who knows if they're going to stay there. My stepmom, she really likes to be in cooler weather, and my dad works out of Scottsdale, so when they retire, they probably won't live in Phoenix. They might move more north. So we were like, okay, well, we're going to hold off on getting anywhere in that area, but we did look for a while in Phoenix and Arcadia even, and yeah, it's just so important. I was like, oh, okay, this is why people hire a real estate agent to do this, because it is a full-time job. I mean, we weren't even like full force because we're operating our business, but I was like, I don't have time to be going to all these houses, communicating with these different real estate agents and like doing all of this stuff and then researching, and then like you basically have to be like a home inspector or trust a home inspector or your real estate agent who's not just trying to press a deal to push it through. It's a whole thing. So
The whole thing. Pressure is the opposite of mindful agent.
yeah.
I want there to be so much space. I want my clients to feel so much space. So there are timelines, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes decisions have to be made within a certain amount of time, but
Mm-hmm.
time is flexible. And if you can create a vibration of like, you have plenty of time to make this decision,
Yeah.
but we need to be signing by this, this day, even if tonight at 6 p.m., you can deliver that in a calm, spacious way, or you can deliver that in a frantic, pressurized way.
Yeah.
And so I'm not even changing the time because I can't control some of the deadlines inside of a deal and in a contract. But the way I deliver the experience of making the decision, how I handle everything leading up to that so that you've already have more information than you need to make the decision, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then you're feeling more in control, more
Yeah.
in trust. Trust first and foremost with yourself is the main thing. And then me. And I've done it the other way. The decisions aren't as good. You make better decisions when you run your life, your business, or you hire people who run their lives and their businesses in this way. It's just a fact of
Yeah.
it's just proofs in the pudding.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you. um,
And like I take that on. I mean, I live what I provide.
yeah.
I can only provide as calm and spacious of an experience as I am living.
Totally.
Because when I was more frantic, it was a more frantic, you can only deliver where you are. So it's so important with any service, accountant, doctor, lawyer, any professional, licensed professional who you're going to bring on for a specific endeavor, right? And your house is typically your largest asset. So choosing a real estate agent is really an important thing. Especially as prices have, like as we said, as values went up 30%, and people are sitting on piles of cash. Honestly, if you owned your home through that time, you're sitting on real equity. It's extremely important to be selective, interview more than one person, ask hard questions, and hire someone who like aligns with who you vibe with and who is experienced.
Yeah. Absolutely. And like you said, the proof is in the pudding, and you can't really fake regulation and calm, because
Yeah.
it's something that is felt on a primal level. Like it's registered in many different ways. It's registered visually, it's registered hormonally, it's registered vibrationally, frequency wise. Like every interaction with another human is essentially us co-regulating and also like sizing each other up in a way. And it's like, can I trust this person in front of me, right? And that's like
Yeah.
just primal brain. And if your signals, because you're not regulated, are giving, I'm dysregulated, I'm stressed, I'm frantic, even if you have a good face on and you're like playing the act and like doing all the things, it's still going to be registered that that's not the case. So
Well said.
that's where, I think that you really shine, is because I've been in your presence before, and you do feel calm and regulated and
Thank you.
and grounding to be around. So it's something that is just felt. And yeah, I mean, I prefer to be around calm and regulation, like even when I'm not doing business, but especially in
Oh, of course.
business,
Yeah, me
is
too. And for even inside of my own
yeah,
body, the reason I
yeah,
feel that way is because I do
yeah,
so many things because that's what I want to experience.
totally. Yeah.
I don't do well living the other way. I've done it. I did it for many, many years. And it,
Hmm.
I just got to a point where I was like, I have to live in a more aligned way for like what my nervous system needs to feel good in my body.
Yeah.
So it starts with me,
Hmm.
the whole
Hmm.
mindful agent and mindfulness practices, started with me. And then, like I said, when I weave them in, it even raised the bar for me.
Yeah.
Like how grounded can I be? How spacious
Yeah.
can I be? Like,
Hmm.
it gives me new goalposts all the time as I work out in the field.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's a real thing when you are trying to live in that way and be of service and make people feel more comfortable and achieve your objective together. It's like, how can I show up in a more grounded way and be more regulated myself and have that bandwidth? But that's a internal conversation that a lot of people aren't even having. It's not
Yes.
even on the radar. It's not even a
Right.
thought that
Which is
goes in.
fine. It's just not, that doesn't work for me.
Right.
And then I think it's an absolute advantage and, differentiator
Yeah.
for me in my business,
Yeah.
like for my clients from a service perspective.
Have you had any clients, you know, express to you, oh, I was working with another luxury real estate agent and it was feeling really stressful and it was feeling that, like, tell me
Yeah.
a little bit about some stories that you've heard in real life. You don't have to
Yes.
name any names,
Of
but
course not. Of course not. Well, I have a great one. I have a client who I helped sell a condo, and she was moving out of state,
Mhm.
and I feel like I helped her buy it too. This was years ago, and then she started texting me from like a month later. She was working on buying a home in this new state. She goes,
Mhm.
"I had no idea how good you were. This person I'm working with is a complete nightmare."
Wow.
Like I just didn't know how good I had it, you
Yeah.
know? So that's an example. And then I've certainly taken over listings where it just wasn't working, it wasn't meshing, and that showed up in the non-sale of the house, which is why
Right.
people, would make that change. And
Mhm.
people, reflect back to me like, oh, this just feels so much better,
Mhm.
or no one ever told me that before. The other thing I'm not scared to do is offer the truth
Yeah.
for people based on what's on in the market. Like if you went to the doctor with an ailment and they were too scared to tell you something that you were doing lifestyle wise because they didn't want to like not get hired as your doctor. I mean, that's
Right.
insane, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with real estate. If I don't tell you that there's a better way for your house to be marketed or something needs to happen to the house to make it more appealing to buyers in the market at the current
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
or maybe it's price,
Mhm.
or whatever it is, maybe it was the
Yeah.
marketing plan. If I'm not truthful about it, I'm not doing my job. That's also part of mindfulness, is being
Yeah.
honest. So I get that feedback that like, oh, well, no one told me we should do that. No one
Mhm.
suggested that. When I make
Yeah.
suggestions, it's always up to the client, the homeowner, the
Right.
buyer. They have
Yeah.
the final say. But my job is to suggest everything I know that can make that like will help them achieve their goal. If you tell
Yeah.
me this is your goal, then I'm going to tell you everything that I know to get there.
Mhm.
And then you can
Mhm.
decide, So I
Right.
do get that feedback as well of like, no one really suggested that. No one did that way. And the consistency we were talking about before also comes in my marketing plans. And so it is a consistent, a lot of listing agents, there's a lot of energy up front
Mm-hmm.
and you get the most kind of traction those first few weeks in the market. But the
Yeah.
longer it stays on the market, the more the marketing falls off.
Yeah.
And that's not something I accept as
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm constantly revisiting, constantly remarketing, constantly tweaking, constantly having conversations about what we can do to improve, what we need to do,
Yeah.
repositioning, whatever it is. So that, those are some of the things I hear.
I love that you went there because I was actually like, you read my mind with the making changes to the home because I saw that on your Instagram and I was like, oh yeah, like that's so smart. And it's also, I'm sure, a really touchy and tender situation for people who are selling. And to have someone that you trust making good decisions or good recommendations for the client to make those changes to make the house more marketable is you definitely want to trust who you're doing or who you're, yeah, entrusting those recommendations with. And I love that you do that because there's so many houses that just sit and sit and sit and sit. And from your perspective, you're like,
I can
oh, if
tell
I
you
did this,
exactly
this, and
why.
this, yeah, like, why wouldn't you want that?
And I've seen other agents do it too. I remember recently there was a listing that I knew about, and I could just tell from the that it had been sitting, and I knew that if someone came in and painted the interior white and restaged it, it would go in a heartbeat. Everything
Yeah.
else about it was great. And I was watching it because I was just curious. It wasn't my listing. And then it expired, and then someone else came in and they did exactly what I would have done. So I was
Yeah.
like watching another agent like do exactly what I would have done, sold immediately. And I was like, I knew it.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes it's sensitive.
Yeah.
What really has been like has a good impact for people to help understand is I'm not giving you like advice about your interior design, your taste
Right.
level, anything like that. I love your house the way it is for you.
Yeah.
Like this is amazing. But if you want to sell your home, people who are coming into it need to be able to picture themselves there,
Yeah.
not you there.
Right.
That's like an immediate block to a sale. Is if a
Mm-hmm.
house is too personalized, buyers cannot even envision themselves in the space. This market demands, in other markets it's not as true. Right now, this market demands houses to be clean slates,
Yeah.
as spacious, white, and like empty as possible with like primo staging. The internet, Instagram, Pinterest, these
Yeah.
are all have been around for a while, but they really changed the game in real estate because people now have to your point, a vibration and energetic hit from
Yeah.
beautiful spaces, and they're seeing more and more of it. It's not just in Arc Digest that
Right.
whatever percent of the population, subscribe to pre-internet. Like most
Yeah.
people didn't see that.
Yeah.
There was more and more interiors out there, design, style, fashion influences, colors, all of that. And so people are more sophisticated. And to be able to envision yourself in a space, it needs to be as neutral as it can be.
Yeah.
That's it. So it doesn't matter like what is there. The advice is to take it to as neutral as your budget, time, and energy allows.
Yeah. What is the biggest mistake that you have seen luxury buyers or sellers make in this current market?
Mistake like from the client.
Let's go from the sellers and then the buyers. So we'll do
Okay.
seller first and then buyer's perspective.
Okay. This is a little tricky because I'm not like intimate with every seller or every
Okay.
buyer,
Yep.
if that's fair. So I'm going to speak kind
Yeah.
of in general.
Yeah.
But for sellers, it would be not depersonalizing their homes at a minimum.
Yeah.
I would certainly say, like I said just before, taking it as neutral as possible, but
Yeah.
depersonalizing is a free step.
Mm-hmm.
Pricing,
Yeah.
overpricing is not accepted right now by the market. So
Right.
that needs to be tight. So those would be the top two for sellers. Buyers. So the buyers right now have high expectations
Yeah.
and want deals.
Yep.
And it's not really like So your laugh says it all. Did I answer the question?
Yeah.
So navigating that for people, helping them understand the true value of a home, that that really, like, it is worth, you know, this
Yeah.
number. Here's the data. That's all data. Price is data. It's not my opinion. It's what the market is telling me and the numbers that I can pull from recent sales. And even if it's because the market is moving in an appreciating way, past data, lagging data that we look at past sales is in the past. So people are like, well, then it's gone up since then. So that's fair. You can like take that into consideration. The other thing I do is I take active homes that would fit the same profile as the house that you're looking to sell, and then look at their pricing and look how many days it's been on market. And if it's so average days on market right now in 85018 is 80.
Okay.
So if you're over 80 days, you're overpriced.
Yeah.
Because if the average sale takes 80 days and you're still on the market at 81 days with no offers, no contract, then you need a price adjustment, or it could be something with the house. I mean, that's also part of it. But showing people that, like, look, this house is just like very similar to yours. This is on the same street. This is in the same neighborhood. And look, they're priced here and they're sitting. And then I go, okay, it's April 24th. So 80 days from now, May, June, July would be like August, maybe close to September. Do you want to still be doing this in September? Most people do not, because it's a total intrusion on your life
Yeah.
to have to get out of your house with your pet and your kids, have everything put away, have the house looking as great as it can, not smelling like you made breakfast or took a shower or did anything that you do when you're living in a home. I mean, it is so much to live through having your house on the market. And so I'm really sensitive at, like, this is part of the mindfulness. Like, I want to minimally disrupt your life. Part of minimally having life disruption is being on the market less amount of time.
Totally.
Right? So it's that tightrope of like time and money. You have to choose. At some point, the money has to come down to speed up the time. If it's been too much time, does that make sense?
Totally.
So
Yeah.
what do you value? There's so much emphasis on price in real estate, and I understand that. But what about the energy out? What about the emotion? What about the time you're spending that you're taking away from other things? I mean, it's graduation season for people. If you have a 5th, 8th, 12th grader, you know, you want to be focused on that, not like getting out of your house every other hour on a Tuesday. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the reality of having your house listed on the market a lot of times will shift people once they're experiencing it. I try to explain so back to the river up front.
Yeah.
But until you're in it, you know, you can't understand. So that would be some of the seller.
Yeah, that's something that people don't even think about, myself included, until I was working on this project for one of our clients who are cash buyers in Pittsburgh. And I was like, well, why would anyone want to just sell their house like cash and not put it on the market, right? And then I started doing the research and breaking it down, and I was like, oh, there's a lot of reasons why people would want to do that, because you're not factoring in like how much it costs to just keep a household going and in general. And then, you know, the time, the
It
energy,
pulls you from
the
your life.
effort, how valuable are all of those things. And it's such a complex thing to solve, because not every house is the same, not every situation is the same. It's not just like
it's not one size fits all.
It's not. It's very nuanced. And if you're not in real estate, it's probably not something that you've thought much about, put much thought into in your day-to-day life, or you know, had
like
experience buying and selling a lot of houses in your life. Like, so.
Well, and I had a seller recently who I went to the listing appointment, you know, and you're usually prepared to go on market with marketing.
Yeah.
And she said, I don't want to do any showings. Like, I don't want to go on the market at all. I want you to sell my house, but I don't want to go on the market. And I still was able to bring her multiple offers.
Yeah.
So there's always a way to serve the client's goals.
Yeah.
And, you know, for her, it was too stressful and it didn't fit with her lifestyle. And she was like, because we got two offers, we were still able to negotiate up for her, which was amazing.
Yeah.
That's not always the case. You might, if you don't go on the market, you might have to price it a little lower than
Yep.
on the market, because until you go on the market, you don't totally know, because the market determines the value of the home, not me and not
Yep.
the seller or the buyer. Well, the buyer
Yeah.
is the market. So you can get as close as you can with whatever your marketing strategy is and your pricing strategy. But until you're like truly on the market and you get the feedback of the market, then you really know if you hit it on the nail on the head or not. So without going on market, you don't know, but it is still possible to sell your home without all of that.
Yeah.
If you don't want to go through that. And wholesalers are a great option for people. That's why, like the name's escaping me, the online Blue Door, what's it called?
Mm-hmm.
All of those that came out, lower commission, kind of like sell in a box kind of thing. But,
Yeah.
You were taking less than you would have gotten on market.
Yep.
But that was okay with you. You were trading time for money.
Yep. Yep. And that's a real thing for a lot of people.
Yeah. Or if you don't want to improve, if the house needs a
Yep.
lot of improvements, you
Yep.
just want to deal with it.
Yep.
Fine.
What has been from your seat, like for your business, what has been the most effective marketing for you in the last year?
Ooh, great question. Two things come to mind. So I'm a repeat referral business. There's lots of ways to run a real estate business. So my answer is, I say that just so that you understand, my answer is under that umbrella.
Totally.
One of my favorite things I do is anniversary cards. So I send house anniversary cards, and I don't have it AI automated, and it's not an email. I have a spreadsheet, like an Excel spreadsheet. And every time I sell a home, I write the name, I write the address, I enter the fields, and then I have it so I can sort by month. And at the beginning of that month, I sit down and like I have really nice note cards, and I remember the transaction, and I write the exact date, and I just celebrate, however long they've been in the house. Most people don't remember their close date.
Oh, wow.
It's not something that you remember, honestly.
Right.
And so I can't give you ROI on that. I can just tell you that my heart is full when I'm writing those notes. So I think it has impact. And then my second more ROI thing would be targeted online advertising. So like we use QR codes at Retsy, like our yard signs have them, my business cards have them. And so anyone who ever clicks to like get more information, like then gets retargeting ads, and it's just, it's whatever, it's regular internet marketing. It's just seeing my face. Right. So it's a modern day billboard. Billboards you can't totally measure. Instagram, social media is another thing that I focus a lot on. To me, all those are in the billboard category because I used to work in media pre-internet. So, it's like not that measurable.
Yeah.
But you can tell when you're getting leads or if someone reaches out that they saw you.
Yeah.
So you know that it's working, and just having the consistency of like you have to stay in front of people.
Yep.
Marketing is being in front of people. And then when you're in front of people, my main thing is to be consistent with my messaging. Yep. So I think it's really important for any business when you're marketing to get to your authentic truth.
Yeah.
And then be consistent with that. Even if you add to it, it comes through in different forms, but that main thread, that intentional thread has to be there. And it has to be consistent in everything you do, no matter what you do. I mean, I could do postcards. I might start geofarming again, which is just like taking a specific neighborhood and just like always, mailing to those houses. I have like a print, wasteful postage, ink, environmental little piece of me that's like, I know those go in the trash.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also know they work. Like it's so.
Well, you can geo-target with digital too. So that's always nice. Like with, with social media and ads. So then that's like, because the buying decisions have changed a lot. It used to be like 7 times of exposure before that people would see you. Now it's like 70 plus 7 hours of consumed.
Wow. Is that an online stat?
Yeah.
It went from 7 to 70?
70, yeah, because of just the nature of marketing and
stuff out there.
Digital landscape. There's so much. And so they have to see your face so many times, and now they want to see, they don't want to just see your face. They want to be able to go watch a podcast of you talking. They want to be able to feel into your energy, see if you're trustworthy, and then also have social proof. So see that you have done deals with other people, see that you're working with other people. I mean, it's a totally different, which I love entrepreneurship because I do think it's like personal development, like to the 100th degree. I think it's going to continue to be that because now we're in this era of they like the trust went down so much, right? Because it's so saturated with online stuff all the time. So, and if you're not just being about what you're truly about, like you won't really be able to keep up any type of facade. So when you're saying you want to get tuned into what you actually are for and like who you are, who you serve, and being really genuine about it, there's not going to be a way to fake it anymore. You really kind of have to just be about that life.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't have said it better. Yeah. So like, I feel like I always need to be advertising. Like I like to reinvest budgets into marketing.
Yeah.
Online marketing is like my primary.
Yeah.
But I also really like to get creative with like personal touch stuff.
Yeah.
Like if I see on Instagram that a client had like a big life event, like maybe they got engaged, married, or whatever, or I mean, if they moved and didn't use me, or they ended up doing a wholesale. Like I have a client who let me know that, hey, someone knocked on our door and they offered us this, and we don't have to show our house, and we saved on commissions. And I was so happy for them.
Yeah.
Like I wrote them a note like a week later, just saying like, I remember the day I had met them at an open house. You walked into the open house, and I pulled up this house on the computer, and because she told me what she wanted, I go, I know the exact house for you. I pull it up. She goes, that's the house I want. Then we got it for them. They'd been living in it for years, over a decade, and now they're making a life change, And so like I got out my note cards and just sent that sentiment to them because that's not, I don't like to call that marketing. That's like me being mindful and from my heart, and me being me as a professional partner.
Yeah.
So I think you have to do, for me, I have to do both. You need to be out there, like you said, because it's so saturated. I can't not show my face, not talk on podcasts, not be out in the community. I need to do all of those things, and I want to do all those things, just not for my own, fun and vitality, and because it matters for my business. It's true. But then the personal connection piece is the heart of my brand, I would say.
Yeah, because you're a heart-centered entrepreneur, which is my favorite to encounter. I love that. Nothing makes me more irritated than when I meet entrepreneurs who are not heart-centered and who are more just the bottom line. Like but I think you can be a nice shark. I think you can be in the shark. Like you can be like really ambitious and want to make a lot of money and be really strategic and also be heart-centered and in service. Like that's my favorite. Like you don't have to just be in service and then like kind of in this like meekness of, oh well, I can't, like into that like kind of like martyr archetype that some people fall into a lot. You can be like really about your business and also really high integrity as a human and really heart-centered.
Yeah, absolutely. That is what I'm going for.
Well, that's how it reads to me. And I've known you for years from like the yoga community. I mean, it's probably
what was that, like 2018, I feel like ish?
2017, 2018.
Somewhere there. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
It has.
And I think I know you from Nicole's
Priestess program.
Yes. Wow. Nicole has been such a blessing in my life in so many ways.
She is such a blessing. I would say the same thing. She
introduced me to Ryan.
That's right.
I mean, if that's not the greatest gift I've ever gotten.
I mean, that Priestess program, and you were part of that, facilitating that, and leading it. she is like my self-love increased so greatly through her program. And then I was really able to take Mindful Agent to somewhere else, because until I could love myself that much, I couldn't love others. I mean, that
Yeah.
I know that doesn't sound real estate-y, but it's true. It's the same thing as being grounded,
Yep.
clear, spacious. You know, you can only love that quote, you can only love yourself or meet people where you are from where you are.
Yep. Yep.
And I had so many breakthroughs from that program that she did and that you were a part of. That was an incredible experience.
It was really, really beautiful and
Special.
potent. And
Potent.
yeah, it's a gift to meet people who are in that stage of being able to love and respect themselves and have genuine confidence, because
Yeah, it's like an awakening and transformation. It's like butterfly
yeah,
moment. Yeah.
because when you're interacting with people like that, it feels so supportive in, because when people haven't done that like work yet, there's a lot of those like subtle subconscious things that are registered in between people. And we're getting very esoteric on the
That's okay.
Outwork'em
I love it.
podcast, but it's a lot easier to work with people when they are grounded and loving in who they are and have the confidence, because then that registers as capability, agency, ability to get things done without having underlying like motives, you know?
Or breaks, blocks and
Yeah.
breaks. Like you said, being an
Yeah.
entrepreneur is like personal development times 1,000 or whatever you said
Yeah.
earlier. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
I love it. Well, how can people find you and connect with you,
Oh,
Kris?
yeah. Well, my Instagram is Kris M. McLaughlin. So that's Kris M and then McLaughlin. And my website is mindfulagent.com.
I love that. And we'll put all of that in the show notes. So if you just look in the description below, you'll be able to find her links to the website and all the ways that you can contact her. Go ahead and give Kris a follow on Instagram. She puts out some great content, especially if you are looking in the Arcadia, North Phoenix, Scottsdale, Paradise Valley area. She is your girl, 100%. She is your woman. And yeah, thank you so much, Kris. This
Thank
chat
you.
was
This was
so
so fun.
amazing, and would love to have you on again in the future with some, market updates and all the things.
Happy to.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have the best day.